Well, we all know the Rhodes Scholarship as one of the most prestigious scholarships in the world. So why is an alumni now accusing it of having leftist bias and intolerance? A spokesman for a group called Advocating for Free Speech and Different Point of Views among Rhodes Scholars says that he was banned from a discussion forum and his group is not allowed to advertise as a Rhodes Scholar group. Joining us now to explain is the spokesman for the Rhodes Scholars for Intellectual Diversity, Daniel Lubrich. He won a Rhodes Scholarship back in 2002. Good morning to you, Daniel.
Good morning, Ainsley. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I know you're an immigrant from Germany. You live here in the U.S. now. This is such a prestigious award. Only 32 Americans are chosen every year, 100 from around the world. So congratulations on being accepted. It speaks highly. I mean, that's amazing. You're so smart to get one of these awards. What was your experience like when you were a Rhodes Scholar studying at Oxford?
I mean, it's a fantastic experience. Oxford is one of the best universities in the world, and it's a tremendous honor to have been selected to as a Rhodes Scholar to study there.
Okay, so you started this group. It's a Rhodes Scholarship for Intellectual Diversity. Why did you start this group?
We started it because basically a group of us from center-left to center-right, quite diverse views, but we're concerned about two things. Number one is the tremendous attack on free speech in the academy and at the Rhodes Trust, and the political bias that we see when Rhodes Scholars are selected.
What kind of bias are you talking about?
So basically, equally or better qualified candidates with centrist or right-of-center views, or even just mainstream liberals, have a worse chance of being selected than far-out leftists with quite extreme political views.
How do you know that? What makes you think that?
Well, I mean, we may not have enough time to go through all of that, but one example, for example, is that the U.S. Secretary of the Rhodes Trust, the person in charge of selecting the committee members that pick the Rhodes Scholars, wrote an article in the Harvard Crimson in which he denies First Amendment free association rights to applicants for the Rhodes Scholarship. That's quite an extreme point of view from the person that makes the decisions in the end. Right now in the US, among Rhodes Scholars that are in elected office, there are 10 Democrats and only 1 Republican. So that's quite extreme bias.
Yeah, I would say so. All right, so you wrote to the trustees, and what was their response?
Pretty much ignorance, so they don't really respond much. We got one reply a couple of months back where they basically denied the warden of Rhodes House, which is the CEO of the Rhodes Trust, basically denied that there is any bias, that there could even be any bias, how we could even suggest that.
All right, let me read you what they're telling us. They said his claims are untrue. Dan was suspended from a global Rhodes Scholar discussion forum because of personal attacks on others, not because of his ideas. In our program for Rhodes Scholars, we encourage them to question and think actively about all forms of ideology, both on the left and on the right, and we encourage them to be dynamic and independent thinkers. Your reaction?
Well, I mean, Rhodes House is a bit smarter than saying outright that they don't like conservative views and that they don't want to select conservative scholars. But the fact of the matter is that I was called by others basically a perpetrator of the Holocaust. Yeah, my family must have been involved in the perpetration of the Holocaust because of the views, like basically mainstream political views with a positive outlook on Western civilization. And those folks were not banned. So the smearing is much more extreme when it comes from the left, and that's all fine. Another example of bias would be that the Rhodes House, the website of Rhodes House, ran an article calling for Hillary Clinton to be elected president during the U.S. election with no opposing viewpoint being presented. So the bias is quite obvious.
Are you going to try to go back to the forum and advertise? I know they banned you from that in the past. Are you going to continue to try to be a part of it?
They didn't just ban me from the forum, they banned me from the entire network. So I can't even, send private messages to any Rhodes Scholars. So clearly, I think it's sort of a punishment, for committing this heresy, for stepping out of the party line that's being preferred there. But yeah, once the suspension is over, sure, hopefully we can continue the work.
If you were more left, if you were thinking more on the left, what do you think the reaction would be?
Well, that we wouldn't have had any discussions. I think that's the preferred mode, that everyone thinks the same, and it's just sort of some kind of kumbaya society where everybody agrees what the world's fight should be. There doesn't have to be any discussion. It's all quite obvious. And once you bring a different viewpoint into it, then obviously you have discussion, you have argument. That's the basis of our society. And for the trust to now deny that and wanting to create this monoculture, that's not in accordance to the will of the founder that wanted the scholars to fight the Rhodes fight and, to fight the good fight. But you have to, what's the good fight? How do you find that out without discussing it?
Daniel, thank you for sharing your views with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.